everyone, it's Kate and Weather here. Today we have a big update on Tropical Storm Sally. Very random. Very random, popped up. But this is what happens with disturbances. Like I said in my last video, I did mention that we did have a lot of active tropics to possibly come in the Gulf, and this is what I mean. Tropical Storm Sally came in one of these disturbances, and it's going to make major impacts on parts of Louisiana mainly. Not the same area that Hurricane Laura made impacts here on parts of Lake Charles when it comes in. This one's gonna be more like New Orleans area. But again, yes, it is making impacts on Louisiana again, but at least it's not in the same area. But I'm gonna give you an update on this one. It's kind of making impacts to southern Florida, but it is going to kind of skim that and go into the ocean and then go up in Louisiana. I have the exact details on this coming up in today's video, so stay tuned. But let's start off with the information about it, just so we know, what's going on now. And something I do notice is it's a pretty slow moving storm right now. 40 miles per hour. Yes, it's very slow. Um, but yes, it's moving 40 miles per hour, 35 knots. Minimum central pressure is 1,004 millibars. 25.6 north, 81.6 west, and movement was west at 6 knots, 7 miles per hour. 7 miles per hour. So that's how much it's moving. 40 miles per hour is the maximum sustained wind. So yes, it is pretty calm right now, but it's going to ramp up very quickly. It's expected to be a hurricane. Okay, expected to be a hurricane. It's going to be big. So 7 miles per hour. This is very slow. Let's get into the live infrared satellite just to see how slow this is. So yes, look at this. It looks like it's stationary. It looks like it's not moving at all. This one spot here, and it is very unorganized. Well, it's actually getting a little bit organized, just a little bit, but it's a tropical storm. They're always mostly unorganized. They're not very strong, and you see it's spread out. It's got multiple areas here. Definitely very unorganized, but it's definitely expected to gain that organized. And I'll show you coming up in today's video when it how it gains its organization and definitely gets closer, makes more impacts. But yes, just means because it's slow means it's probably better. I don't know, it's weaker, less organized. But when it's slow, means there is more flooding. And I'm surprised that this is slow. Usually tropical storms are not slow, but this one is very slow. Definitely making impacts mainly on extreme southern Florida, but that's not our main focus. It's mostly going to make impacts on Louisiana, and I'll show you what I mean by with its track. So as you can see, it's only making impacts in this yellow area that you see here in southern Florida. That's just going to be like its weakest, but it can make impacts on parts of parts of Florida's Panhandle and parts of Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana's southern coast. As you can see here, this exact area here is going to make impacts. And look, it says hurricane. So it's expected to be a tropical storm now until about 8 a.m. Monday, and then by about 8 p.m. Monday, so 8 o'clock at night on Monday, it is going to be a hurricane. And it's actually going to be a hurricane for a pretty short amount of time, expected by that morning. It's only going to be like an overnight thing. One night, it's going to be a hurricane. And by 8 a.m. Tuesday, actually, that's about 2 nights, it's expected to be still a hurricane. Now, this hurricane is what concerns me, okay, is I see this hurricane is impacting Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama while it's a hurricane. And that we can start a tropical storm once it gets on land. Worst timing, because we want it to not be a hurricane once it makes landfall. Because that's really bad. And then, as you can see, we can see a depression right after that, and it goes away. Because we'd rather it be a hurricane now rather than it being a hurricane when it makes land. But definitely, that is its track. Now, before we get into the future models, this is the future. This is the future models. But before we get into the future model, like radar, this is the spaghetti models. So as you can see, this is just multiple models here, and you see a whole bunch of them show it making impacts on Louisiana's coast right here. Definitely, but just some of them show it going into the Florida Panhandle here. So definitely, it could go into the Florida Panhandle. So be prepared. And it goes up. Some of them, just one of them actually shows it going through even parts of Atlanta, and that's weird. But that could happen, but that's just one model, and a lot of them saying it's dissipating, which is what it's really supposed to do. It's supposed to dissipate once it reaches like kind of like central Mississippi to central Alabama. But yes, that is the spaghetti model. So now let's get to the future model, just one of them here, and this is a pretty accurate model. As you can see, look how much unorganized this is compared to what we see. So look, random rainfall here. It's not. There's no circle in the middle. There's no eye. There's no nothing because it's a tropical storm. They're always unorganized, just like I said. And then we time this out, and again, once it gets more organized, it means more strong. It just begins to organize. See, it's still pretty unorganized, but look at that. Look how much more organized it is. You can just tell that it looks more like a hurricane, more organized, more in a circular form here, more strong is our main concern. As it hits parts of Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana coast, it gets really strong, which is worse timing. And then you see it goes on to Louisiana. Oops, sorry about that. It goes on to Louisiana and makes major impacts, is what we're forecasting. And wow, that looks really strong as it hits that. Definitely, this is crazy. Tropics are getting crazy. We already had Laura. Now we're having another. Okay, first off, random tropical storm Sally to be Hurricane Sally. The tropics are just getting super random and active. So like random things, and then we see it moves up. It really just dissipates once it gets, like I said, to central Mississippi, and you don't even see any rainfall. It dissipates. I hope you guys did enjoy today's video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. I know the tropics are getting very active. We've had this random storm and it's expected to make impacts on Louisiana again. So definitely not the same spot, but definitely that's its track there. But hope you guys did enjoy. If you have any other questions, then we're gonna comment that down below, and I should be able to answer them. But stay safe, stay weather aware, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.